Scaling a business is like climbing a mountain. It's challenging, it's rewarding, and sometimes lonely. And along the way, as you're developing your business, you develop new relationships, whether it be romantic, in the business realm, or overall just friends. But the relationships in your life can either help you reach the top or hold you back, especially if you're just starting out. I'm a 29-year-old digital marketer and content creator, and I've generated millions of views and hundreds of appointments over the years. And today, I'll be sharing some of the lessons I've learned about navigating relationships while building a business. But let's be frank with everybody, okay? So as a business owner, you're probably juggling endless responsibilities like clients, strategy, team management, and growth. But here's the thing. Relationships often take a back seat, especially when you're developing a business. Here's what I faced. So time scarcity. So the days are blurred together, leaving little time for friends, family, or partners, really. 2 is miscommunication. Loved ones don't always understand what you're going through, and it's really hard to convey what you're going through to other people, especially if they've never been through it. And also there's this pressure, this ongoing pressure to succeed that never goes away, which is essentially like the mental weight of scaling a business can create distance between you and the people who matter, which is terrible. I mean, it leaves you feeling disconnected. It leaves you feeling misunderstood and maybe even a little guilty. But here's how I learned how to navigate relationships while scaling my business so that way you can too. So the first thing is communicate your vision. When you're focused on your goals, it's really easy to forget about everything else. We're living in this hustle culture, which basically tells us that, hey, we need to work harder, we need to work longer, we need to work smarter. But it never teaches us to work on the relationships that are currently in our lives. We're always trying to fabricate something out of nothing to compensate and give us the time to spend with the people, with the relationships, with the things that we already have in our lives, which is crazy, right? And it's a normal thing. It literally happens all the time. But you have to share your dreams, your struggles, and why you're working so hard in the first place. Otherwise, people are not going to understand where you're coming from or why you're even doing this in the first place. I'll give you an example. My mom, for the longest, I've been trying to spend more time with her. And towards the beginning of my relationship, which I'm still in the beginning stages of it, by the way, but my mom, she was always basically asking me, like, when can we do this? When can we do that? And I've always had to tell her, I need to work on what I'm doing. Not that I don't want to hang out with you. It's just that it's a lot of stuff that I have to handle at this moment that unfortunately I can't necessarily hang out with my mom as much as I would. Now I'm much better about it, especially with after hiring and stuff, but that used to kill me, man. That used to destroy me, man. And at the beginning of my business, I also had a girlfriend, and every time she would basically be super sad whenever I've had to cancel a date, which sucked, you know? And it's not necessarily that I don't care about the relationship. It's just that, like, how am I going to pay for our lives, you know? How am I going to show up for our lives, for our lives that I'm trying to create? What I'm trying to say is that if they don't understand why you're doing the things that you're doing, that is your fault. It's your job to communicate that, not theirs. Number 2 is essentially prioritizing quality time, which basically means being intentional with your time whenever you use it. I love to use a calendar. I don't do anything unless it's on the calendar, okay? So when you block out time for that person, for that romantic relationship, for that friend, for your family, block out that time and stick to it, okay? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you stop working, right? Saturdays are for my loved ones. Sundays are for my loved ones. It just depends on the week, but on those days I'm still working. Let's say there's a 4 or 5 hour window that I'm hanging with the people that I love the most, because that's not only for them, it's also for me. If I expect to be successful in every endeavor of the human experience, including business, I have to invest my time wisely. So then how am I going to be doing that if I don't have a calendar and I don't stick to the commitments that I make to myself? Just a consideration. Number 3, setting boundaries. Scaling means saying no more often than you say yes, as I've understood. So that means for me, it meant saying no to going out every single week. It means saying no to potential prospects that don't necessarily add to my business. And it also meant that sometimes your business will have to come first. Like, as of the past 2 years, I'm protecting my time as much as possible. Like verbal commitments that are coming from other people, basically telling me like, hey, so I need you to do this. Basically telling me that I need to do this. No, I don't need to do shit. I'm gonna protect my time and only give it to the things that align with my priorities, both personally and professionally. That rhymed. Another thing, especially for romantic relationships, Jordan Peterson said something really interesting. There was a longitudinal study that he was looking at, and he said that the relationships that last the longest are the ones that have spent 90 minutes with each other intentionally every single week for the entirety of the relationship. At least 90 minutes. So putting it on the calendar and setting boundaries for not only your business matters, but also matters to your relationship. Like saying in those 90 minutes, in that 2-hour window, I'm not doing anything except for hanging out with my friend or with my parents or with my romantic relationship. And the last thing in this point is that I want to be close to my family, right? I want to be close with my family, the one that I develop into the future, and the family that I currently have, right? Being my mom, my dad, and my brother. And that means taking my mom out to dates, you know, going on a date with my mom, doing things with my dad that we don't normally do, telling him that I'm available on a consistent basis in order to let him know that I'm available for him. So there are many times where business does have to come first, but the more you say no, the more available you become, which means the more time you have to invest in those who matter while also scaling your business at the same time. And the last point is surround yourself with supportive people. As a business owner, you'll be lied to, cheated, backstabbed, stolen from, which is why whenever shit hits the fan, make sure those that matter to you have demonstrated to you that they are worth your trust, and pick yourself back up, because even if you're living in a place where you know no one, you're not alone. And it's a crazy concept to think about, right? As long as you have people that support what you do and anything that you're trying to achieve, you're always going to be fine, right? And even if you didn't, eventually you'll find people like that, right? Because not everybody in the world is evil, you know? Some people are nicer than others, but I bet you you'll find somebody eventually, even if it's just one person that says, go ahead, go do your thing. Yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll be right here when you get back. You know, that sort of thing. Is that we don't need 100 people to say that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people is enough. And being a business owner and trying to not only scale the business that you currently have, but also scale the integrity of the relationships you have, that matters. So you just learned my method to how to navigate relationships. So you just learned my method on how to navigate relationships as a business owner. Make sure to subscribe and turn your bell notifications on, because I put videos like this out every single week and you don't want to miss them. And if you're a roofer that wants to get appointments on autopilot in the next 90 days, click the first link in the description. And if you want to watch a video on how to start sharing your business on social media, click this video right here. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.